Up here at the cabin, I had been watching bears and learning bears for many years, and it was a bear that we had become particularly close to named Peaches.
About 3 or 4 years ago, when he first got the place, I was coming out a lot helping him fix up different things. It was an old place. I was shocked he chose to get it, but he just wanted to spend some time with nature. He wanted to get closer to nature than he ever had before, and we never imagined how much nature he would get close to with all the deer, turkey, and bears that were around here. And that's when we'd first meet Peaches. We'd be out here working on the pond and trying to get it restored in the cabin. And she would just kind of get about 10 or 20 feet away, curious, watching us work, and we'd do nice things to kind of spook her so she wouldn't get too used to humans. But no matter what you did, it seemed like she just came back every day just curious and wanted to watch and see what you were doing. And that's when we first in life got a real bond to a bear like that. Most of the time black bears are so timid, they'd see us and keep their distance, but she always just kept getting closer and closer just to see what we were doing.
Peaches was so special to my family. We enjoyed watching her. My whole family did. My nieces and nephews would come down and watch bears or any wildlife with us, and it was a joy whenever Peaches came in. The reason she's named Peaches is I had thrown out probably about 15 old peaches out in the yard, and my nieces and nephews here, my little 4-year-old niece Alexis, I said, this bear, we've never really named her. Would you like to name her? And she said, I think we should call her Peaches because she eats peaches. So that's how Peaches got her name.
About a year ago, she was a first-time mother. Last year she came in the spring in 2019 with 3 little babies, and she would nurse them beside us and nurse in the yard. And we posted many pictures and things on the site, maybe 10 or 20 yards away, because she felt so safe around this cabin in this little cove. We found where black bears feel safe, that they are curious and they'll come around and be a real joy to those that watch them.
She went missing sometime in July, and then when she came back in August 18th, the cubs looked great. She looked emaciated and was totally fearful of me, which is very abnormal, and she was missing half of her front right limb.
It was the day before my brother's birthday, and he picked me up like most mornings for me to come up here and hang out, do some work around the cabin, and hopefully see some bears. And when he picked me up that morning, he was in tears, and he said Peaches just walked through with her cubs, missing her right leg. And she had disappeared for 4 weeks, and everybody was worried about her because we were used to seeing her every day. And all of a sudden she was just gone for 4 weeks, and her cubs, and no one saw her. And that morning she came in walking by the cabin, very scared, very timid.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst days I've had in many, many years. I said her name, which normally she would stop and get curious and all that, but just me saying her name scared her so much, she just bolted up that hill, and I've never seen her again. Just later that afternoon, we went to our parents' house and told them.
The same day we saw Peaches, WLOS, the local News 13 station, aired on TV a mother bear missing the opposite leg, a left limb, also had 3 cubs.
In this very same area, less than a mile from here.
An adult black bear missing much of her front leg, spotted in Buncombe County.
And that's when our father, Colonel Scotty Morgan, an 8-year POW, very worldly, very intelligent, said it looks like somebody's trapping bear.
I had seen in the past the big traps that were used to trap bears. I mean, it was pretty obvious that something had taken that leg off.
And right then we knew something was seriously wrong. Our stepfather, Colonel Morgan, knew right out the gate that it was trapping, and these bears lost their limbs from a trap. They had no other injuries other than the high missing limb on the front, one on the right leg and one on the left. And he said that the only way we'd find somebody and who's doing this is to put a reward out there. So we did start a reward with the Morgans, and with them sponsoring it.
We decided to start our Facebook page, thinking we were going to catch maybe a neighborhood trapper, hopefully. But we've uncovered so much more.
We started getting all kinds of tips from the 2 counties of bears missing limbs in different areas.
Then the checks found another one someplace else.
And then they found out that another one was missing, and then sort of just rolled on from there, that people started sending in things, and you had another one missing, and it just got bigger and bigger.
I've realized how bad the bear poaching problem actually is.
We realized it was big just because of how many reports were coming in. And within just a couple to 3 months, we had over 12 bears missing limbs.
We're up to 14 bears.
22 and counting.
Nowhere else in the world has that many 3-legged bears.
We began looking in just to the bear part trade and the Asia demand of it, and it's really a major problem that bear paws and the gallbladder are some of the most highest sought items in the illegal wildlife market and bring some of the highest money.
One bowl of bear paw soup can go for up to $1,000 US in China. That's more than the medium income for a family over there. I've seen gallbladders go for as much as 10 grand. It's a dark world. It's fueled by greed, drugs, and it's the very wet markets that have made the news in this past year and a half or so from this virus.
Once these bears lose their limbs, it's a struggle for them to walk. They're very heavy, bears are very thick, so it puts a whole lot of pressure on one of the limbs. So there's a lot more suffering that's going to come to these bears in the future.
Take the injured bears and get them rehabilitated and then back out into their natural, normal, wild environment. That can be set aside in a fairly remote area of the national forest. There are people who will donate to where it won't cost the taxpayers anything. They can have veterinarians to take care of the injured bears and possibly other animals also.
These traps are indiscriminate. Whatever steps in it, it's around their leg, whether it be a dog, a cat, a bear, a wolf, a fox, or bobcat. The sanctuaries and rehabilitations in this country and around the world are full of animals with missing limbs and tragedies from traps. Do what's right and support the sanctuaries and rehabilitation centers that are fixing all these problems from the profits they made off of trap sales here and around the world.
That helped their reputation considerably. Be a smart thing to do. And to see these bears being trapped and mutilated by the traps is it really bothers me, and I have sympathy for them.
We've worked close with our followers on the idea of having a sanctuary and rehabilitation center in Asheville that we can take in all the bears with missing limbs and make sure that they get the treatment for the future to make that other leg strong and to monitor them and give them the most comfortable life that they can. We also, in this time, got many reports of bears hit by cars, cubs injured, broken legs, different things out there around the community and through West North Carolina. And the rehabilitation center would allow us to help those bears and re-release them back into the communities. And at the same time, giving sanctuary to the bears that can't be re-released. But we hope that our sanctuary will be a way that we can work with other states to say, versus putting that friendly black bear down, let us put them in our friendly sanctuary in our friendly city of Asheville, North Carolina. That's why there's so much support and want for this sanctuary to happen. And there's such a need for it to happen. These bears deserve the best moving forward to help them through their tragedy and through their suffering.